he's a phenomenal cop. He's bringing Mike in, but he forgot the lock. So Mark's grabbing the lock. Here's surreal. Hey, surreal. How you doing, buddy? Here comes Mark. Open the door. Bring it in. All right. Here's all the kids. All right. What do you want? You get a bike real soon. We'll get you a helmet first. All right. Hey, that was nice. Hey, Mark. That was good. You want to say anything? Is it better? All right. You're up. Let's hit it. Hit it. Hey, Mark. It's good.
When you look at the sharp decrease in crime in the city of Minneapolis, you can see it happening all over, but nowhere nearly as dramatically as North Minneapolis. Crime's down 8% this year, 25% over 2 years, and 40% over 3 years. The numbers matter, but so does the reality. And so we wanted to bring Mike Martin, who leads the precinct in North Minneapolis, and Ed Anderson from Couch Stores, one of our great leaders, on to tell us a little bit about what they're seeing in North Minneapolis and how that works. Ed, let's start with you from the perspective of somebody who runs a very prominent store. What is it like in North Minneapolis these days as opposed to a few years ago?
Well, it's changed dramatically, actually. Many years ago, only 5, but it seems like a lot. When we first started, there were gunshots were common, a lot of violent crime in the area, people getting beat up. In the last 5 years, it's changed dramatically. Right now, we are getting an influx of people from all over the city, actually, moving into North Minneapolis and shopping at my store. It's been great. We've got a lot of Hmong coming to the community, huge Latino population coming in. We see a lot of upwardly mobile people shopping at the store.
No, you know, one of the things when you think back to those days, it again, tremendous credit to go to Cubs for looking at the situation back then and seeing what it could be now. It wouldn't be like that without the investment we've made. So
we've made a huge investment, but it's also been the partners with the nonprofits, the Minneapolis Police Department, the mayor's office, working, I think, in a coordinated effort. Really making a difference.
Oh, good. Now, Mike, you're leading the command there. You came on 3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And talk a little bit about what it was like on the streets back there and how it feels now.
Well, when I first came to the precinct, our biggest issues were street-level drug dealing and shootings, homicides, and now we're getting complaints about livability crimes, about noise and people loitering in the area and litter, and that's encouraging to see that the focus is moving from the violent crime to more things where people are taking ownership in the neighborhood. And we're working real closely with the businesses, with the local residents. And they stood up and said, look, we don't want to tolerate crime in the neighborhood. And with the support of yourself and the city council and the business people, we've been able to make a difference.
You know, people have looked at a lot of things that we're doing that are impressive. I think our youth violence prevention work has been really clear. There's been a lot of other work. But one thing that you've actually been involved in is something that hasn't gotten a lot of attention. It's what we're calling, I guess, predictive policing. Instead of just reacting to what happened last week, predicting what could happen next week and setting it off. Can you talk about a real-life example? Like, how does that work for the police?
Well, if you look at traditional policing, what we do is when crime occurs, we make arrests and we investigate what already occurred. With predictive policing, what we're doing is looking to try to prevent the next crime. Rather than trying to catch the bad guys, we'd rather prevent the next crime from occurring. Obviously, we're still going to catch them, but we look at emerging patterns and trends in an area and see if we can identify where most likely the next crime is going to occur. Also, if we can identify suspects, then we'll use whatever resources we have, probation, parole, other things, to put pressure on them to prevent them from committing more crime.
So the way it works is you go every week into your staff meeting, so we call it Code 4, and you'll look at the numbers, you'll say what's happening, and then you'll say, gee, we think this is going to happen over here.
We're looking at numbers, we're looking at maps. A lot of it's visual, looking at maps and seeing over time where crime's occurring, what times of day, what day of the week, what areas we're most likely to see crime, and then we'll put our resources, the officers, people from the community, we'll talk to the business people and try to put them in the area so that we can eliminate that opportunity to commit crime.
Good. Well, you know, I think one of the things that we've seen so often is that there's so many good neighbors in North Minneapolis, and so many of them, for a while, frankly, were feeling a little bit defeated, that you couldn't see light at the end of the tunnel. And, you know, I was just on my bike yesterday to North Minneapolis, go to a lot of meetings there, just hang around a lot of places, and the buzz is much better, and so we really appreciate the work you've done, both of you. And I think it's a good example that making it safe in North Minneapolis or anywhere really involves the police and the community together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you're interested in becoming a block or apartment club leader, call 311 or visit the city's crime prevention website and click on Club Leaders. Help make Minneapolis a safe place to live and call home.
Just before I came down to do the show, I was at Hennepin County Medical Center. I was visiting the hospital to check in on one of our police officers. He's having some very serious health problems, and there in the corridor outside his room had gathered a number of people from the community who appreciated the work he did. They came to give their respects to him, to the family members, and as horrible as that moment was, it was really very moving to see that the people of Minneapolis, at a moment when an officer was in trouble, came forward to simply say thank you. As I left the hospital, I thought it's the same place that I was at a few years back when Melissa Schmidt, one of our great police officers, died. And again, the community came forward and said that this great officer was appreciated. In those moments when we lose our police officers or when they get in trouble, I've seen over and over that the people of Minneapolis step forward and thank them for their work. But I hope we also remember, just on an average day, any day where we're walking down the street or going to school or going to work, and we can do it safely, but that's not by accident. That standing between us and harm's way so often is a great police officer, very often unnoticed, very often doing their job without fanfare, and we do need to stop and say thank you. With crime down so much in this city, we can thank a lot of factors, but probably nothing more than the fact that we have great officers who every day put their lives on the line to make our lives a little safer. We also have to remember those officers cannot do it alone, and in fact, over these next few months, the number one goal I have, continue to make this a safe place to call home, is that every single person in the city of Minneapolis sees what they can do personally to be part of making their community safer. We're going out into every neighborhood now and developing neighborhood safety plans. It's the police officers of Minneapolis who do remarkable work, and the citizens of Minneapolis who are remarkably supportive can continue to come together. We can continue our work to make every block in Minneapolis, 24 hours a day, a safe place to call home. We've made tremendous progress, and thank you all for the part that you've all played. But we have a lot more to do. So together we're going to do that, and hopefully next time you see a police officer on the street, or next time they see you on the street, you look at each other, shake hands, and say thank you for being partners who've made this a safer city.